On their exciting journeys, Madness invades K101 in search of fun and has the possibility of being king without sitting on the throne, making all K101 bow down to its offensive power. After a few weeks of attacking careless players' castles and others who tried to intimidate him, Madness is a strategist hunter, and with a lot of experience he is looting resources and gaining merits with each new inversion of the K101 players in several attempts to stop him. Madness will be placed in a deadly game. He finds himself alone facing an alliance full of good K137 players. In addition, being an invader in K101 RUI, the main alliance will also become an opponent, as the noble warrior will try to consecrate himself as the great champion of the dispute from KVK. Any K101 or K137 player that gets in his way will just be a victim. K101 was a peaceful and prosperous place ruled by all the players, until the Dragon Queen decided to make her own rules and her alliance control the kingdom. DQ began to lose strength and be contested for control of the kingdom, after the arrival of Madness making a weak queen. Since then a war has been fought and Madness has been gaining strength and advantage. DQ will need to prove its worth in a place where everything can happen, which could be the ruin of his days and control of the kingdom. After countless castles were attacked and most of his friends' troops were killed, everything seemed to be going wrong for the kingdom's main alliance. The War of the Realms was approaching and the pretentious Dragon Queen, seeking new allies in the realm to face her unknown foe, turned to Madness for help. Every week members of the RUI alliance lost their troops and resources. The situation was getting critical in their kingdom. It didn't take long for Madness to notice a very shy flag waving with a peace sign and a call for a truce from the main alliance of K101. Dragon Queen sought to restore the respect it had with K101 players, ensuring that players enjoyed victory from KVK with collecting diamonds and more rewards for all your efforts. Madness seeks only for fun and does not agree to its terms and starts its own personal war against both kingdoms at the same time. Lucky for everyone, this KVK will be without real losses, just fun on a day of war. Come with me. Madness hears cries for help from King's Landing. It's time to go to battle. He spots the enemy attacking the great castle. Fearless positions his castle close to the enemy, makes sure there are troops in his castle. Because of his power, could try a solo attack and then check for troops occupying the GC and remove the enemy who occupied it with T4 troops without his lord present. A strategic jump is made, then Madness looks for enemy troops in another great castle. This time his trip is not very far and he goes to Storm's End in an attempt to find enemy troops, but there is nothing, although he sees the enemy returning to occupy King's Landing. Even far away, the brave warrior summons his best regiment led by Jaime Lannister and Layla with mixed synergy combo and focused on infantry, eliminates 600k of enemy T4 and regains control of the GC. Madness returns to position himself beside his enemy and intimidates him. Wisely, Ghost Rider calls for reinforcements, as he perceives Madness's insistence in trying to prevent them from having control of King's Landing from K137. His enemy presents a vast volume of troops and their offensive power is still unknown, so it's time for a strategic exit for Madness. Madness is not alone in this arduous task to face its enemies. Guest god Vegeta joins the squadron with training focused on cavalry and mixed synergy combo with Layla and Jaime buffing the other commanders, creating the possibility of having another player specialized in a type of troop, just as Madness dominates the infantry. In his first appearances, God Vegeta shows to be powerful, defeating the K137 player with ease after eliminating the million troops and capturing the Lord with 3 hits. On the other hand, we had the presence of the third member, Danny, taking some of the existing troops in the enemy castle. Back at K101, Madness finds his enemy, who for now is his ally in the fight against K137, but as there was no kind of agreement, even being on equal sides, the K101 player was removed from the control of King's Landing, losing 960k for T4 Spearmen. These eliminations do not count towards individual rank as they are on equal sides. His thirst for revenge only increases, and Casterly Rock is full of enemy spearmen, as Arcus 79 is focused on spearmen, but in his line of defense he does not have established synergy, weakening his defense, causing Madness to have great success attacking with full infantry formation, giving counter and removing the enemy from the GC. The same player who occupied King's Landing and Casterly Rock also kept Airy, without the presence of lords or dragons for reinforcements, leaving his troops exposed to be attacked by Madness. In Storm's End the same thing happened, and Madness took advantage of all these opportunities to eliminate the existing troops. This causes the enemy to lose enough troops to continue in the KVK dispute. Even knowing that this KVK would not have real deaths, the K137 players kept their bubbled castles. Time passed and there were only K101 players scoring through big castles. Madness goes in search of new emotions and approaches his enemies again to intimidate them, then he thinks of scaring them with skulks and it ends up working. Then it will be the opportune moment for Madness pursuing its enemies, seeking revenge by eliminating their troops. Madness has the coldness and courage that the noble knights of the great houses of Westeros have, and waits for the exact moment of the return of the enemy troops and attacks, killing a large part of his T4 cavalry. This manages to make it impossible to continue attacking, as his main line is focused on cavalry. K101 was surrendered to Madness when he decides to jump to K137, finding a player without a bubble and blindly attacks. To his surprise he eliminates 1M of troops and captures his lord. GEA main alliance from K137, players have set up a hive. Madness will try one more inverted against their enemies who are holding King's Landing. Madness was focused on observing his enemies at that moment, and to his surprise, Madness receives a solo attack. His enemy is very strong focus spearman and weakness attack synergy combo. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, Madness sees himself and decides that it is time to end his intense battle against K137 and K101 in this KVK. Coming to the end of a bloody day of war and fulfilling his promise of revenge, showing that it is possible to invade a kingdom and fight against an entire alliance, being part of another even more challenging war, fighting exciting disputes with great prominence in the individual classification by eliminations and captures of enemy lords, making K101 consecrated KVK champion of the month of July. Madness gave Dragon Queen the upper hand to fulfill his promise as well. After collecting diamonds offered by the Dragon Queen as a peace offering for K101, the noble warrior will say goodbye by returning to K86 where his alliance is located. In addition, he says goodbye to the game and the Chronicler board, leaving his legacy and teachings for new and future players. Thank you, my friend, for sharing with us your joys, achievements and teachings. It was really fun playing with you all this time. I hope you come back. Until the next video, guys.